Alright, what's going on, guys? I just recently started my bulk and I'm putting together my meal plan, and I kind of wanted to go over how I'm doing it and how you can do it too. So yeah, first things first, you go and need ChatGPT. Let me show y'all. Yeah, before we get into the actual specifics of what I'm putting into ChatGPT, what I did is I just went on my notes app. I put together, I thought about my days. What can I be consistent with? How many meals can I get in? When can I get them in? Which meals do I need to build? Like, for example, I take 3 meals to work. So I know that I need to have 3 meals that are easy to, pack up and stuff like that. So you have to process all that. And then from there, I went on my notes app and I wrote down, just pull it out in my head. What can I eat for my first meal? For example, I like to eat egg whites and eggs. And then I even put a little bit of variety. Like, so for my training days, for my meal one, because that's the one I'm at home, I have a little more flexibility. So I just put in for meal one 75 grams of carbs. So some days that's going to be a bagel, some days that's going to be sourdough bread, other days it might be oatmeal, cream of rice. On that meal I can be a little bit more flexible. Whereas like other meals, the meals that I bring to work, I'm putting down specifically 250 grams of rice because I know that's just what I'm going to have to do. I'm not going to be able to have the variety as much. So yeah, get your meals, think about your day, lay out your day, when you can get your meals in. If it's okay, if it's only 3 meals you can only get in, okay, play with that. But once you have that, you can then insert that into ChatGPT, and I'll show you how that works. Yeah, so as you can see here, I put in all my meals, ask them to do the macros for it, and they'll even make sure you get the measurements right and be very specific. For example, like on the rice, the cooked weight versus the dry weight. And they'll even show you their references here as well. So make sure that that's accurate and how you are calculating yourself. You can also cross-reference with other, MyFitnessPal and stuff like that to make sure you're getting accurate measurements. But don't get too caught up in how everything comes out. Look, they'll go meal by meal for meal, and then they'll give you also the daily total. So this is my rest day macros, what I got to. But again, don't get too caught up in the first initial, because again, you can go from there. If I wanted, let's say, I thought this was too low of calories or too much protein, I can then go back to my meals and go, okay, this meal, I don't need this much whey isolate. Let me do just 30 grams, and you can keep playing with that until you get kind of where you are aiming to be. And if you have no idea where you're aiming to be, find somewhere where you think is good and just start with one meal plan. Do it for a week. Track your weight. Did you go up a bunch? Did your strength feel good? How'd you feel in the gym? All that. And then you can go from there. You might have overshot it by a lot and you have to reduce the calories by a lot, or you might have to up it by a lot, and that's okay. So I just wanted to show you all that. Hopefully that helped you. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. Again, like I said, don't get too caught up in what your initial plan is. I would recommend having a rest day and a training day macros, just because, at least for me, if you're someone who's struggling to put on weight, just keep your macros probably the same. But if you're someone like me who puts on fat easy, definitely I recommend having your carbs a lot. Maybe even just what I did to separate my training days and rest days, I just took out like some of the pre-workout and post-workout carbs, because obviously you need more of those when you're training, and obviously if you're not training, you don't have any of those, So I took out some of those, and then on my other meals, I kind of just like halved. For example, the rice portions was 125 on this, and it was 250 grams on my training days. So just little small changes like that, but you can keep the basis of the meals the same. Again, you want this to be as simple as possible so you're able to stick to it. And again, don't pick foods in here, even if it sounds good. Like, I could put a steak on here, but am I going to be able to afford a steak every night? Am I going to be able to cook a steak every night? Or, so make sure, again, all this strategy, and this could be a 10-hour video, but just little things like this are, you have to think about that when you're incorporating your meal plan, even if it would be more ideal. And then again, too, don't get too worked up. That's why when I wrote down my meal plan, I wrote down all the meals, and then I have the totals too. So for example, if one of these meals, for some reason you're out of one of the ingredients, okay, this meal is supposed to be about 400 calories, 40 grams of protein. So how can I get close to that? You don't, if you're not in a prep setting, you don't got to be exact, perfect. But as long as you have some kind of metric, you'll go a long way, man. So hope that helped y'all.